I was woken up by a phone call. The husband jumped up and picked up the phone. He and I are already accustomed to night calls and visits, but this call was somehow alarming, or something unusual. Yuri listened silently and handed the phone to me. Looking at the clock, I noted that it was 3:30 in the morning, so something really happened. A woman's voice was heard on the phone, mixed with tear. My former classmate called. "Oksana, this is Tanya. Maybe you remember me." "Well, we kept teasing you at school. I remember everything, every day at school, like a lash to my pride. And now I stood barefoot in my pajamas, and while my husband brought me hot coffee, I listened to Tanya's story. It turns out that life has given her a hard time. Tanya failed at college, and then got married and gave birth to 3 boys at once. Then, in our Volgograd news was broadcast on a local channel that the mayor's office had allocated them an apartment in honor of such an event. But after giving birth, our Tanya was no longer a beauty, she became a mother. The husband quickly went to Anapa with her friend, and Tanya stayed to live with the children in her grandmother's apartment, along with the grandmother herself. Soon the grandmother passed away, and very suddenly, she was not sick, she was doing something in the country garden, and then she died in the garden. And now, according to Tanya, Grandma has not calmed down, and there is no peace from her. He comes and howls, literally. I would have laughed, but Tanya's voice was scared. She had no time for jokes. She asked to come, promised to compensate for travel expenses. The man literally begged for help. I promised to call back in the morning and tell me my decision. I sat in the kitchen with a cigarette until the morning. Bad call. My husband also suggested an idea. Maybe they're pranking me again, like at school. They want to laugh. But something inside said, no, this is not a joke. At lunchtime, Yura already accompanied me to the Paveletsky station. I decided to go, and only when the train started moving did it dawn on me. How can I help? How can I help? Should I also hide under the bed and tremble until the morning? Tanya met me in Volgograd in the morning. We started talking in the car. It turns out that the jokes are really over. Tanya doesn't sleep for a lot of time. I noticed it right away. Red eyes, bags under the eyes. Oksanushka, darling, she really howls. You understand, I see her, but she doesn't leave. Every night he comes to his room and howls. I have already taken the children to their mother. They are afraid to even move around the house. We are living in some kind of nightmare. She loved us all so much during her life, but now we have no peace from her. What have we done wrong? I was thinking and asking, is he howling at the moon or something? No, says Tanya. She howls at the closet. He will stand by the window and howl right at the closet. I came up with an idea. Maybe there's something in the closet, and the deceased woman is making it clear that it needs to be found. Tanya said that they rummaged through the entire closet. They found nothing but her old things there. Soon we arrived at the house. A large 4-room apartment with high ceilings, many old paintings hung along the walls, smells like old age and mothballs. But I liked the situation. I didn't feel anger or aggression. I didn't see any extraneous energy either. It was felt that an old man lived in the house with his own values and priorities. Tanya silently pointed at the door. I went into Polina Sergeyevna's room. That was the name of Tanya's grandmother. Indeed, opposite the window, there was a huge cabinet on carved legs. Such cabinets are no longer made. Beautiful facades, carved rims and frames. Everything smelled of antiquity and the soulful work of a master. The room was spacious. Everything was in velvet crimson tones, very cozy and clean. I didn't want to leave. Tanya called into the kitchen and we started talking. Then we walked around the city, sat in a cafe, and when it began to get dark, we returned to the apartment. We decided to sleep in the same room, because during the day we are all brave, but closer to night I began to shake a little with fear. We lay there and remembered our class, laughed, and when the clock struck 12, we fell silent. They lay silently and listened. But nothing happened. The clock struck 1, 2, silence. Tanya even cried, asking if the night would really pass peacefully. And then the silence was filled with a howl, a long, hoarse howl. I was sure that it was howling from the street and not from the next room. Tanya jumped up and in the blink of an eye jumped onto my bed. Lord, I saw so much horror in her eye. I really felt sorry for her. I quietly got up and went to the window. A dog was sitting opposite our window and howling. My heart was relieved. I ran up to Tanya and said, "Don't be afraid, it's a dog howling on the street." And Tanya looked at me strangely and said, "Listen, now she will answer him." And then I heard a response howl, but from the next room. Moreover, I heard the closet door begin to shake. Someone was trying to open it with their claws. There was noise and clattering. Then everything became quiet. In the morning, as soon as it was dawn, I went into the room and found nothing there, no traces of claws or teeth. But it couldn't have been a dream. We are quite adequate people. Tanya followed me all day, asking me not to leave, but I didn't intend to. The situation interested me greatly, and at the same time made me angry. For the rest of the day, we sat on the balcony. Tanya literally drank glasses of cognac, and soon I realized that at night I would be completely alone. Tatiana will sleep like cognac, but for some reason I passed out right there on the balcony. And I smelled the scent of red Moscow perfume. And then someone leaned over and said in my ear, the cabinet was made to order. He was a nice craftsman. I woke up to the smell of scrambled eggs in the kitchen. Tanya got up early and covered me with a blanket. When I told her everything, her eyes lit up. By lunchtime, we went to the closet with our tools. First, we dismantled all the sidewalls, then the shelves. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Well, this can't be the case, so we decided to examine every board. They climbed everywhere, took apart everything they could, and broke what they couldn't. And again, nothing. We sat down on the floor to smoke. My Tanya completely lost all her nerves and began to wail. And I felt completely uneasy. And only then did I notice that my engagement ring was not on my finger. Where can you find it in such trash? Tanya calmed down and went to cook borscht in the kitchen. And I began to climb, looking for the ring. My ring is wide, almost 12 grams, antique. I really love everything antique. I rolled up my sleeves and began to literally crawl on the floor in search of the ring. I found it near the leg of an already broken cabinet, was incredibly happy, lay down on the floor tired as a dog. And then I just noticed that the legs of the cabinet differ in their carvings. I called Tatiana, and we began to look at them. What a surprise it was when Tanya started twisting one leg, and it gave in. It turned out to be hollow inside, and a necklace with blue stones fell out onto Tanya's palm. Chic decoration. Immediately the apartment began to shake. From the kitchen we heard a strong howl that was approaching us. Without thinking twice, I threw the necklace behind the door and began to pray. Everything stopped. Tanya thanked me very much for my help, because my grandmother had not come. Do you hear the howl of the night? If so, are you sure that he is not from the next room?